Hi everyone, you join me here on the Salisbury Plains for a quick walk around video of my 701 Enduro lightweight adventure bike build. So in this video I'm just going to quickly walk you through some of the modifications that I've made to the bike so far and then tell you what will be coming up next for the bike. What I won't cover in this video is my luggage setup and what I carry. I'll probably do a separate video for that for those that are interested. But yeah, let's get into it. So starting from the bottom, first thing I have is the Raid Garage Evo 2 bash plate. This thing is great. It gives me 4.5 litres of storage where I can keep my tools and essentially all the things that I need in order to make the bike go. So jump cables, spare tube, etc. So yeah, really good, happy with that. I will probably get it powder coated black to match the scheme of the bike, but for now it's great, can't complain. Well worth the 2.5 kilos that it is over 1.8, 2 kilo plastic bash plate. For me, it's what I need, that extra space. Next up here, as you can see, I have the Outback Motortech crash bars. Again, not a necessary thing, but for me, being a fairly new off-road rider, I wanted to have that extra protection there for when the bike inevitably falls over. As I become more adept at riding off-road, then perhaps I'll take them off to save that 1.2 kilos, but realistically I think I'll probably just keep them on there. They work. I hope they work well. I did drop the bike once, but yeah, and they protect it fine. Next up I have the Raid Garage Rally foot pegs. They're great, they give a lot more space to stand on. They also drop the pegs a little bit as well, which for me at 6 foot, just under 6'3", 190 centimeters is much appreciated on the kind of longer trips. So yeah, that works lovely as well. Coming around the bike, one of the things that came with it from the previous owner was a side stand switch eliminator. So for those of you that know, the side stand switch, which cuts the ignition if you try and put it into gear on this bike, if the side stand is up, cannot be bypassed. So you need to get a switch, otherwise you could find yourself in a worst case scenario stuck out in the middle of nowhere. So that's been done. Also the clutch slave Oberon upgrade has been fitted to this bike. So that was done by the previous owner, along with a brake cylinder protector kit on there as well. So on this side, I've also fitted a Wings exhaust system. I lucked out big time as I managed to find this one used on eBay. It was previously fitted to a 690 Supermoto, and the owner wanted to get rid of it because it has a small nick on the inside from where they snapped a chain and it pinged up. Didn't bother me. I managed to get it for 160 quid, I think what it was. Contacted Wings, got them to send me over a new link pipe because that's the only difference between the 690 and the 701. That arrived next day from Slovenia, which is amazing. So yeah, fitted that up, and that's been working great. Brilliant weight savings. I think it drops about 3 kilos. So yeah, really happy with that so far, and it sounds brilliant. Definitely leave the baffles in if you get it though, because it's not quiet. Whilst around the back, got a Tails Heidi that was fitted by the previous owner. I don't have any issues with gunk flying up in the back of me. I haven't been riding in the wet, so far that's all been great. Whilst we are at the back, what I have fitted here is an Enduro it goes with my gloves, an Enduro Rally pack. And I think what I've done quite creatively, if I don't say so myself, is when you bolt this, it takes 4 bolts to attach this to your to the bike. Keep first aid and bits and pieces in here. You've got 4 bolts going through. Just about see that in there. And I'm running the Krieger OS system on here, so I have to have fixing points up. So instead of putting additional fixing points, or instead of getting a rack, which I don't really understand the point of the racks on this bike, they're too small, all you can really fit on it is something like this anyway. Bolt this straight through, attach some loops, and that means that I've got fixings for my Krieger OS system on the bike at all times, along with 3.5 litres of storage. So yeah, really happy with that. At the rear I fitted a new brake cap. This is from Rally Raid. Yeah, just a simple Sherbis cap. I wanted to get rid of that locked cap straight away because that did not feel good. The first time I filled it up on my way home, it was not good. What am I doing? I'm making a right faff of this. Come on. Why am I doing this? There we go. And then, because I'm a tart, I stuck a little breather pipe on the top there just so it gets that extra ventilation. Not that it needs it, because it does breathe underneath as well. Whilst we're up here on the top, thinking about ergonomics, the original seat for this bike was fairly hard. Some people call it a plank. To me, it wasn't that bad. Ergonomically, it was actually quite comfortable, but for longer trips that I want to do, I did need that extra comfort. So I took it to a seat surgeon. Obviously, there's plenty of options out there in terms of looking at aftermarket seats. You've got Seat Concepts, and there are a couple of others, I believe, that do seat covers. But ordering a Seat Concept seat from the US, paying all that import duties and delivery fees, and then still not knowing if it's actually going to make that big of a difference, was a bit too much for me to stomach. So took this seat to a local upholsterer's and got them to recover it as well as increase the padding. The advice of that chap was to widen it at the same time, but I thought I would just go with increasing the padding at first. Received the seat back within a couple of days, was really happy with it. Looks wise, but took it out and it actually was a little bit less comfortable than the original seat. So very kindly spoke to that guy again, and he suggested that we should widen it out. So we went with widening it out, and that's made a huge difference. So yeah, super happy with that. All in all, the seat cover and padding and back and forth only cost me about, again, £150, £160. So when you compare that to a, you know, $400 Seat Concept seat plus all of the extra fees I'd have to pay, I'm coming out well ahead on that. With those additional savings, I also added a Cool Covers seat cover. Just gives me that additional ventilation. It also gives a little bit more comfort as well, but mainly for the ventilation on you know, on hot days, and also it's quite nice in the rain as well, because you know, it lets the water channel away and doesn't pool up under your butt. So yeah, all in all, the seat, really happy with that, really happy with how that's come out. One of the larger upgrades that I did was I put on an auxiliary tank from Raid Garage. Yeah, this is brilliant. I mean, this is one of the I guess issues with this bike stock for an adventure bike of any kind, is that it only comes with, I believe, a 10-litre tank. So you get maybe 130, 140 miles from a tank, I think, if you're lucky. That's just not enough for adventure riding, so I knew I needed to increase that. This seemed like a really good way of doing that. So essentially what it does is replaces the stock airbox with a custom twin air airbox and a 4.5 litre tank, I believe. So increases your fuel capacity by almost 50%. And that means, most importantly, that this bike now has in excess of 200 miles range. So absolutely fine for touring anywhere on the continent. So yeah, really happy with that. And the best part about that is that, like, they're pretty much like for like in terms of weight. So if I'm just riding up here on the Salisbury Plains, or I'm just knocking about and I don't need that extra range, then I just don't fill this up, and it's not added any weight to the bike. But then when I do need it, I can fill it up and it's great. I have hooked it in so that it actually is dual feeding. So both tanks are linked together and they both siphon at the same time. You can change it so that it just uses the front tank first. I can't be bothered with that, so yeah, I just have them acting as one tank. Works brilliantly, really happy with the quality. Again, it comes with a little breather pipe on the top. Yeah, works a charm. Whilst we're up here looking at ergonomics then, so ergonomically the bike wasn't the most comfortable for more than an hour's ride, really stock. So did a couple of things to address that. First of all, tilt the handlebars forward a little bit, you know, made sure everything is set up how it should be, you know, brake levers coming from mountain biking, making sure your brake levers and things are in the right place. Still wasn't quite doing it for me though, so I added some rally raid bar packers to increase the height of the bars. They're really good. They only cost about £30 and they are made specifically to give you the exact amount of height before you would need to change any of your cables or hoses, so you can just make that change very easily. It gives me the right height. Next up, I changed the bars. These are my second set. Oh, sorry, changed the bars, changed the grips. These are my second set of grips from Pro Grip. The first set were the foam rally grips, but I just found them a little bit too narrow and they were very uncomfortable. These are the rubber rally grips, and I find these brilliant. I've only had them fitted for maybe a week now, but really happy with them, and they're definitely going to be staying. Mirrors, stock mirrors were okay, but someone did point out on a video that they are attached here to all of the other gubbins, so if you did snap them, then that's going to cause you issues, going to have to pay for the whole master cylinder and all that type of stuff. Didn't want to do that, so went with the, what are these? Everyone knows what they are. They're the typical adventure set of mirrors. They're pretty much bomb-proof. Yeah, really happy with them so far. You have to cinch them down pretty tight to stop them from vibrating downwards whilst you're riding, but that's okay. I mean, I have them done up tight. If I fall over, then they're still gonna, they're still gonna move. So there's no chance of them breaking. And then a big upgrade, obviously, which I've made most recently, is the Raid Garage F5 fairing. Super happy with this. I was umming and ahhing about doing this. I did previously have the Adventure Spec mini fairing on the bike, which was actually pretty good for £130. It did a good job of getting the wind off my chest, didn't cause buffet, and was very easy to fit and super lightweight. However, this just looks so much cooler. It's like the bike was designed to have these fitted, and once I'd seen it, I couldn't really keep putting it off. I just had to get it. So yeah, a bit of a splurge, but after having ridden that and having the Adventure Mini Spec screen before, Adventure Spec Mini fairing before, I can definitely say that this does provide better wind protection, and it also makes the bike feel a little bit more substantial, on top of adding additional benefits like the much improved lights. So yeah, really happy with this so far. Didn't find it too hard to fit. It was a little bit fiddly, but yeah, the guys at Raid Garage are brilliant. Richard especially, he helps whenever you have to ping him an email and ask him what bolt goes where or whatever, if there's a gap in the instructions. He gets back to you really quickly, so yeah, really happy with that. And then at the front, I've got a little Endurostan fender bag. That's just where I'm going to be storing a spare inner tube, tyre irons, things like that. But all in all, oh yeah, and then we have some Barkbuster handguard protectors. They've been out on there, they've been great. They came with the bike, so I would forget that they don't come stock, but that was added by the previous owner. But all in all, that is the bike so far, and yeah, really happy with it. Especially now I've had it wrapped in my own custom design decal set, which I designed with Scrub Moto. Yeah, really happy with the bike so far. It's a proper head turner, and it sounds great, it rides great, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it taking me on a lot of exciting trips. Very quick overview of what's coming up next on the bike. One of the most important things for me is that I want to get some sort of throttle lock, whether it's an Atlas, whether it's a Coco, I can't remember what it's called, but I do need a throttle lock on here for those longer motorway stints. And I also do have an uprated rear shock spring. I've got that at home already. That's a Rally Raid one. I just need to get that fitted, and the suspension really tuned in to my weight. But yeah, I think that'll probably be it for the time being. There's not an awful lot more that I want to make, an awful lot more that I want to do to the bike. So I think I'll wrap it up here. Sorry for a bit of a ramble. But yeah, if you like the video, drop us a like. If you've got any questions or any suggestions on what additional improvements you think I should make to the bike, then do please let me know. And yeah, have a good weekend. Take care. Bye.